What up, guys? Welcome to episode 85 of Fresh Off the Mats, here with the Jiu-Jitsu Joes. Boy, how's moving going?
I hate it. I hate it so much. At first, it was fine, but...
At first, I was afraid.
Yeah.
I was petrified.
But you know what sucked? It's the middle of the week. Like, that's what sucks about it. Is like, if they gave us Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that'd be cool. But
they told you had to do it?
Yes, like we had to move in on Wednesday on the 1st. And so...
Oh, the 1st of the month?
Well, last time we moved in on like the 20th of last year. So I don't know why. I like it because last time we also had to pay like the prorated rent of the remainder time we stayed in the other apartment versus this one. So it was nice because we moved in on the 1st. So we only pay for this apartment. So that part was nice.
Okay.
But it's the middle of the week. Mac and I still have work. So like we work in the morning. When obviously recording the podcast. So it's right now thing. Going into the afternoon.
Yeah.
So it's just like our time crunch.
But it's a good thing that you guys are just moving in the same complex. Imagine if you had to move
like to a house, like constantly driving somewhere. So that's also the very convenient. Like we did that, I'm sure we would both be like, hey, we're taking time off work.
Yeah.
We're moving and that's it. But here it's just like we just move around the corner. So it's been hectic just because like last week I was sick. So missing jiu-jitsu then. And then this week I think I've only gone Monday and Tuesday. And that's it. And then I missed Monday.
Oh, but you got to move. What are you going to not move?
Exactly. So today, even today, if we don't finish stuff by 5:30, I was like, I'm going to have to not be able to come tonight. So it's just like the constant missing classes is annoying. And I don't know.
Whatever.
It's moving. No matter what, no matter how easy it would have gone, it's moving and it's always a hassle. So that's the thing. So
I hate moving.
Yeah. It's
so annoying.
Because the thing is, too, all we have really set up is like our bedroom. Mm-hmm. And the rest of the house is still like a mess.
But that's the first thing you set up anytime you move. It's just your bedroom.
So you can go to sleep.
You can go to sleep.
Yeah, we set up the bathrooms and the bedroom so we can shower and then we can go to sleep.
Yeah, shower, brush your teeth.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Take
Outside
a shit.
of that, like yesterday, I went to Publix and I picked up a chicken and that was our dinner. Like we picked up a chicken and it was just like, yo, we just went to town on a chicken.
Just little by little.
So it's like that's really
been it. I hate moving so much.
Yeah.
It's so infuriating.
But outside of that, it's not too bad. It's just now after moving, hopefully we finish everything today, but then we got to clean up the apartment and then we got to set up hours over the whole weekend. So about a week's worth of doing stuff, but it's all good because then we'll be moved into a bigger apartment.
You signed for like a year or you signed for a long time?
And the thing is, no, it's 1 year and that's all they allow there. I've asked in the past because they're the cheapest apartment locally. Mm-hmm. So I've asked like, can we get like a multi-year contract? And they're like, no, we don't do that. It's renew every year. And the reason why is because every year they end up bumping up prices a little bit. So
I think we're getting to a point now. It's not such a big influx of people moving to Southwest Florida. And I think they're like, oh shit, we built way too many apartments. Cause now I'm starting to notice that all these apartment complexes are like, oh, $300 off the rent, $400.
I mean,
because I think they're realizing, oh fuck, we built way too many complexes too fast.
My sister was telling me like there's an apartment complex next to her. They're charging for a $3,300. Like, bro, what are you offering?
There better be a Publix in the complex. There better be a laundromat in the complex.
Am I getting maid service? Am I getting a massage every day or something?
That's like
what are you
New
offering?
York prices,
yeah,
bro.
that's what I'm saying. Like the Southwest Florida, we've grown so much.
But so fast. All these places, that's why I think it's going to bell curve.
All these people are trying to like charge at these high city prices. It's like, bro, the people haven't adapted to that yet. So like when I say we're the cheapest locally, bro, I paid $19.60 for a 3-2. Well, Cayman was saying he lived in a 1-1 and he was paying I think $2,100 or $2,200. Like and this is the issue. Like it's nice to go buy a house, but right now houses are also like inflated where a $200,000 house that should be $200,000 they're charging $400 for. Yeah, and then you get a 7% interest on it too.
Because sellers realized, oh shit, all these people are moving from New York where they sell their $1.3 million house.
Now they're dropping price. I just saw a house on the market get dropped by 80.
That's what I'm saying.
A few of them are dropping by 50.
That's what I'm saying is I don't think as many people, I think the influx is done.
Yes.
I think we had this spike and now it's going to even out again because I think prices are starting to go down.
People are realizing, no, I'm not paying
this. This is not a $400,000 house. This is a $250,000 house.
And another thing my buddy was telling me is like home inspectors were being skipped. So a lot of home inspections were getting skipped because they knew if I said, no, I want my home inspector to come, they'd be like, oh, well, the next guy said that he doesn't need that. He'll just move right in.
He'll just move right in.
And so they were like, let me go to that guy and he's paying more. He'll probably pay cash.
Yeah.
So like now they're running into this issue where people realize, damn, all these people were going cheap on houses. They weren't fixing shit. So
people paid way too much money for houses between 2020, the end of 2020 2021, 2022, even beginning of 2023, people were paying way too much in Southwest Florida for houses. I heard people saying, "Oh, I'm selling my house for $450,000." I was like, "What?"
And they bought it for 80.
What?
They bought their house for like 180 to 120.
And it's just because some dumbass from New York sold his $1 million house and is like, "Oh, I could buy a $400,000 house and have $600K in the bank."
But not just that, it's because they get a yard now, they get a pool. So to them, that house is worth that price because of what they came from.
Where they had $1 million house, but they had no backyard, they had no pool. Yeah.
But now, for the people who know that house is like a $200,000 house, we know the value. They were like, "Well, yeah, we know you're not going to buy it. We're going to go sell it to the guy that's willing to pay it." But still, like you said, sit on $600,000
in the bank, or buy another house to rent out,
and then they'll do shit like that. And then what they'll do to know, because they got the deal, they talk to all their friends. They're like, "Oh, well, now I can charge it because, bro, we were also looking at houses to rent because obviously we want a yard for our dogs and to get away from the apartment living, bro. This house, 3-2 house." It's not the fanciest thing. It's a normal home, not in a gated community. It is a normal house, 3-2, decent sized yard, nothing crazy. It's a quarter-acre lot, right? $4,800 they were asking a month for rent. Not just $4,800 a month. They wanted the first and last month down with a security deposit of half of it. You're asking for $15,000 on the first day?
I think if you guys want to get a house, you should just build your own.
So we've thought about it as like finding the land. The hard part is all the land got bought up too. So I was looking at
Lehigh, bro. I really think going towards Lehigh, bro, you laugh.
I know.
But if you want to be close to Fort Myers, I think Lehigh is because Cape Coral's oversaturated. It's
and also that whole one bridge thing. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I don't want to go over those bridges.
I drove out there for a client and I saw the construction being set up. I was like, "What's happening?" And I talked to the client. They were like, "Oh," she goes, "I heard that they were changing it to a 1 lane for the next 2.5 years." You know why?
They're going to put a sidewalk.
For homeless people.
Yeah.
So it's not dangerous for them. They shouldn't fucking be there. Who gives a shit if it's dangerous for them?
I want to make a declaration here on the podcast. We, the United States of America, needs to dedicate a state to the homeless. We need to take a state like Arizona and be like, all the homeless got to move there. Or give them Idaho.
Texas.
Give them, no, not Texas. I like Texas.
Texas is huge.
No, not Texas. Give them Idaho. You take a state like Idaho or Utah.
Beautiful.
When's the last time you went to Idaho? And when's the next time you plan to go to Idaho? When's the next IBJJF in Idaho? I know there's shit to do in Texas. More than Idaho.
Ain't shit to do in Texas.
Way more than Idaho.
That shit was a wasteland.
Okay, Montana. Dedicate Montana. No, you can't. You can't freeze them out. You dedicate Idaho.
Montana might be the good one.
No, you dedicate a state in the United States.
Montana, Wyoming,
to the
and what's
homeless.
the other one up there? That's pretty good idea.
We dedicate a program where the government gives every homeless person, "Hey, you're homeless.
That's
you
Seattle.
got it.
Seattle's already.
Send them to Seattle.
Washington's
you give them.
already on.
You're homeless. Here's a ticket. You have to go. You have no choice. You have to go. You go there. They build complexes. They dedicate the state to homeless. They build complexes. They give you a room.
So you're saying because you're homeless and irresponsible, we
concentration
should give you free
camp
things?
all the homeless.
Wow. Whoa.
All the homeless. You send them to a camp until you're able to get on your feet where you could get a job. Then you can move out of the state.
That's where all of our license plates should be made.
Yeah. Do shit like that. Make ammunition there. Make cars there. Give them jobs. You're homeless. You got to go to the homeless state. Be homeless or get a job to work your way out of being homeless.
A homeless state?
What's the other option? We let them die in the streets? You send them to the designated state. They have to work on making cars. They have to work on making license plates. They have to work on,
we could build up manufacturing.
That's what I'm saying. You give them a job, and then when they reach a certain level, if you want, you could leave.
Okay,
and try
that's great.
Go back into society. That's rehabilitation.
But then think about it. How many of these homeless people are they're not just homeless because they made bad decisions. They're just homeless because they went through a bad route, which would be good. In that situation, sending someone like that to that place would be good because they get to get off their feet.
If they're mentally ill,
now what about
you send them
the drug addicts,
to a hospital that's in the same state. We contain it all in one state. We take care of the homeless people who are mentally ill.
Now in a country where we are all about our freedoms, we are going to force people to do something.
A mentally ill person? Yes, I'm 100% making mentally ill people force them to do things. They're not in the right state of mind. They need a caretaker. So we have to force them to do that. No?
So
if they're mentally ill and they have the chance to go on a stabbing spree.
What about the people that already live in those states that are happy in those states? Are you going to force them out?
Happy being homeless?
No. The people that are already living in those states
gotta leave. We voted.
So you're going to
the United States
are we
on the
pay
next
for them
ballot.
to move?
Yes.
We're going to buy that person a home.
We sent trillions of dollars to Ukraine. We can't send trillions of dollars to Idaho and be like, hey, I know you love potatoes, but it's time to pack up and move to the next state. This is the new homeless state.
We didn't send trillions to Hawaii.
We should be ashamed because of that.
We didn't pay for Flint to get their water fixed.
We should be ashamed of that. I agree. But we start with some program. And I think the homeless program is the first one to start with. They won't even
help people who are already established. We're not going to help people who aren't established.
Bro, but we have to start at some point. I understand we haven't. But if you want to send them all to Flint, Michigan, you send all the homeless people there and you give all the people of Flint, Michigan, hey, I know it sucks sorry, that was my water. I'm sorry we're forcing you to move, but here's $1 million to start up and move somewhere else, redesignating this state, whatever it is, to the homeless people. You help out the people in that state and you put all the homeless people in there. And you help rehabilitate homeless.
It's not bad, but I mean, then we'll also become like Australia did, where they just,
Bro, you can't tell me that
sent all criminals to Australia now. I mean, it's a thriving country.
I don't agree with this whole notion that a lot of lefties say where they're like, they're homeless, it's their decision. No, it's not. They're mentally ill or they're down on their luck. It's one or the other. They're mentally ill or they're down on their luck. So why not help people who are down on their luck? And if they're mentally ill, we should step in and be the parent to help mentally ill people.
Which would be nice.
Is it fair that a veteran is mentally ill, has all these problems, and he's homeless because of it?
But this is also the issue with that. And I'm glad you brought up the veteran thing because I was going to. There's a lot of things that people don't. I think we need to do better at giving that information out, especially for the veteran community. A lot of veterans don't know.
But if you're mentally ill, it doesn't matter how much information you get.
The veteran community actually does get a lot of help when it comes to and I'm isolating a very small group of people because it's only 1% of the population. But even that 1% of veterans, right? Drop that number even down lower because not every veteran is obviously homeless.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of help out there. There are homeless institutions for veterans. The VA does get a lot of money to be able to help in those situations. But how many people are actually going out of their way to go there? And
because it's either one of two things: the pride, where it's like, no, yes. I don't want to be forced to be helped.
How would you solve that issue?
By making it mandatory. If you're homeless, you live on the streets. You cannot live on the streets.
So you're saying
have
the cops would have to go pick them up and then we ship them out?
We force you. Bro, you can't live on the streets. You can't. It only leads to bad things. It doesn't lead to good things to be living on the streets. So if you're mentally
whether you're
ill,
a good person or not, it might be bad luck for you. And
you will live a happier life. The government should step in. You will live a happier life if we send you to this state. Listen, if you're not mentally ill and it's a pride thing that you're living on the street, you're homeless, you're down on your luck. Let us help you get to a position in life where you're stable enough to get put back into society, and you'll make your own money. And if you want to switch careers, or if you want to stay, you're more than welcome to keep going to avoid being homeless. Or if you're mentally ill, we have to force you to stay. There used to be asylums with straitjacket people who were forced to stay there because they were mentally ill.
Now you also have to think about it in that sense. How would you avoid abuse of the system? In the sense, not just abuse of the system. One, people who would just be like, well, I'd rather be homeless since I'll get everything paid for me in that state. And then two, how would you avoid people who would abuse these people that are now down on their luck, knowing that they have nowhere else to
welfare. I used to work in a grocery store, and you know how many people paid with welfare?
But that's what I'm saying.
But they had Lexuses, brand new Lexus,
now we're going to say how we're going to push a whole state to where that system. And I'm not just saying that the homeless community would abuse it. I'm saying the people that now go there to have to function that society. How are we going to avoid them from abusing others?
You're talking about if a homeless person gets back up on their feet, how they avoid.
I'm talking about
I choose to be homeless so that way I know it gets paid for.
Well, there's also that. But then,
if you want to ruin your life to become homeless, to then have to go to Idaho to go work,
to have everything else paid for, all you do is work, and now everything's paid for.
No. The program is you work. And at some point, you reach a level where it's like, hey, you're graduating from the program. You're no longer homeless anymore. You could choose to still live here, but you have to pay as a functioning member now.
Okay, so that means that they're no longer homeless, or are you going to kick them out of the state?
Yeah, there's got to be a way where they move out.
But that's the hard part, because now what if they can never get back up on their feet? And now they're permanently here, and they're forever being funded.
I think it's way better than the amount of money we spend on all the bullshit in our world.
the thing,
And I don't think a lot of people want to ruin their lives.
I think you need to see that as is the states should be responsible. Just like
Correct.
Florida is responsible for their homeless divisions, right?
But nobody's doing a good job at it.
One, you also have to see how many homeless people do we really see around here? Obviously,
a lot.
now,
Since 2015, the increase is crazy. That I've seen here.
But look also what's happened since 2015, right?
Yeah.
We've had another massive bubble that broke. We also had COVID.
But I feel like a program is way better than, we just let them live on the streets.
So they're not just trying to let them live on the streets. All the local government and our state governor has also said that they are trying to solve the homeless problem.
Yeah, but you know how a lot of governments solve the problem? They give them a bus ticket to another state. They're like, go to Texas. Yeah, go to California.
But you're kind of
that's not a program because you don't rehabilitate. You don't help them get back on their feet. People don't want to live on the streets, dude. People do not. nobody says, instead of living in a California king bed, I'm going to go sleep on the sidewalk. That guy downtown with the big dread, have you seen that guy?
No.
There's a skinny homeless guy. Since 2015 when I moved here, he has been homeless. I don't think this guy likes sleeping on a park bench. Now, is he probably mentally ill? Yeah, probably, because there's no way you could live your life like this. His dreads have all formed into one big dread. It like hangs all the way down to here. The guy smells from across the street. You could smell him. He's talking to himself. Now you say to this guy, hey man, you try to talk to him because he's mentally ill. Listen, there's a program. We're gonna get you on a plane or a bus to the state. We're gonna rehabilitate you, whether it's drugs or getting you the right pills in order to be mentally sane. And we're gonna help you. We're gonna give you a job. We're gonna give you a bed. You can't tell me that this guy's gonna be like, no, I'd rather still live on the park bench.
I'm not saying that the heart's not in the right place. I think that there's more.
I think we got to have a heavier hand and force a lot of these things. And I know that sounds crazy, but we can't take the approach of, homeless is their identity. We just let them continue to do this. It's not an identity to be fucking homeless.
Yeah.
It's not. This is bullshit that people say, you got to let them live their lives. And let them do this shit.
And that's also the thing. And I don't like.
We got to take the kids to the park, and we got to see this homeless guy with his pants around his ankles. That's okay to sacrifice little ones that have to see this guy fully naked.
Because that guy is apparently living his best life.
You take that guy and you fix him.
Yeah.
You don't let him deteriorate on the side of the road.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, your heart's in the good spot, but it's like.
I'm not saying the other option, which we stick them all in a room and light on fire.
Wow, that would be terrible.
No, but like, that's what we should do. We should take care of the people, bro. That's what we should do.
Which we should.
How many trillions we sent to overseas?
That's where I think the true issue is. It's not that we're not trying to help. It's that the government that we currently have, and that I love America as a whole, right? We're a very good country as a whole. We have problems. And I think one of our issues is the way our government is a phenomenal government in the sense of like the idea of it. The issue is like how we don't
execute it.
Not just execute, we have a government that outside of like other governments, where if like you go ask the UK is not concerned about what we're doing in America.
No, the UK is only concerned with the UK.
But America is very concerned about what others do. And the issue I think also comes into that is because we also know that if we don't help these other countries, a lot of bad will leak into the rest. And then we get into, and people always like, we should let that happen. But then they don't think about the big picture. What was happening during World War II, right? We were ignoring everything. Yes, we got attacked by Japan. But if we didn't get attacked by Japan, we also would never have found the letter where Hitler was planning on invading Mexico and Canada, which obviously with the way he was invading Europe could have been very successful at doing that. Japan coming from in and then they crushing us in because we wanted to avoid the world. Yeah. Right? It is not a bad thing to just focus on us, but the way other countries have set themselves up to where they also are not in the right sense to be able to defend themselves, we also have to make these calls to be able to be that police force. Now, I also agree where we shouldn't have to be.
I don't think we have to be as much anymore because the information.
And so that's where I think is where we need to start working it to where we need to start telling these countries, hey, and I'm not saying do this in a year. Tell every one of our allies, you got 10 years. Yeah. In 10 years, we are no longer going to be sitting here sending you trillions of dollars. We're maybe millions, maybe billions, because inflation goes up, the value of money is always changing and all that, whatever. But we have to be like, we need to focus on our people, our country, our education, our healthcare. Because I'm not saying like what you're saying is wrong, but I think it's skipping what we could. Another thing that we could just address that would solve that issue, which is instead of sending trillions of dollars out, if we put trillions of dollars back in, imagine each state being able to split that. Can they be able to get that?
Here's the thing, bro. This war started with Ukraine and Russia, right? And right away, we just start pumping money into these places. How long has Flint had to deal with bullshit water?
That's
How
what I'm saying.
Have homeless people been around in all these poor cities? Bro, Detroit is a fucking shithole. How long have we seen this suffering happening? But the second we need to send money overseas, we could do it like
all
that.
All of a sudden, we can pump it out.
Yeah, we couldn't find this money to fix Detroit, but we found this money in a heartbeat to go send it overseas.
It's not that we couldn't find it, and this is where I also...
We could justify it through war and make money.
And that's the issue. It's not that we can't find it, and this is also where people see it as too. It's like, it's the justification. The problem with America, and it's not a problem... I'm smirking if you see us on YouTube, or smiling. It's not smiling because of like the situation, but it's what we as Americans are.
Yeah.
If you really see it, we are a war country.
Yeah.
We have a majority.
We don't make shit.
But exactly. Yeah. That's the thing. We don't make things.
That's why the homeless program would help out a lot.
And so it would be great.
We're going to make cars again and license plates. And
so, I mean, we make them, but we export it. So like, and this is also what I love. Like when people are like, I think it's Ford. Where people don't understand,
it's assembled in the United States.
It's assembled,
the pieces
and people don't understand legally to be said that you are made in the United States. I think it's like 15% has to be assembled here, and then you get.
But the pieces come from like Japan.
The pieces are made somewhere. They're assembled there. They just send it in pieces, and then we put it together. It's like, oh, we made it in America. It's like, bitch. So yes. If we made it to
they should make a stamp 100% made in America.
And so there are things, but the thing is, a lot of companies don't want to do that because it costs more.
Oh yeah,
you go over to Mexico, you pay someone who $20, they just made $100.
Yeah.
Versus you pay someone $20 here. The issue with us causing inflation, you just paid them 10. Right? Like there's an issue with it, but people, again, we don't make things.
Are we a part of a bubble? Like I feel like. We can't keep going down this path forever. At some point, this bubble got to burst.
Yeah,
I don't know what. Here's the thing. I don't know
like what type of bubble are we in?
Yeah,
but like this, and so this is also why I say,
like, if we went into a depression, can we rely on Ukraine to send us?
We have been.
No. But what I'm saying is like a really bad. We drive cars. We're not too bad off. You know what I'm saying?
Well, so financially, compared to the Great Depression in the past. Financially, we were actually worse off than they were.
I understand, but our lives are not bad. Me and you don't live on the streets. We're filming a podcast.
We're not starving and all that.
But what I'm saying is, if it got really bad, can we just knock on Ukraine's door and be like, "Hey, send us that trillions back"? That's what I'm saying. That's fucked up that we just give it out like that, and we can never rely that we're going to get support back.
So going back to like obviously our earlier podcast, when I tell people this too, and again, it sounds horrible when I say like we need a war. Yeah. It's because if you go back, not just looking in the history of things, but you look in the economic side, when we as a country go to war, again,
we do financially well.
Financially, we skyrocket because not only
Fuck you, Kim Jong-un. We said it before, we say it again. We're declaring war on North Korea.
Bro.
Fuck Kim Jong-un.
This is why we'll never blow up.
Fuck. What's another world power? Fuck Putin. Fuck you, bitch.
We're never going to blow up because Instagram and YouTube.
Because they're going to blow us up first.
They're going to keep us down. They're not going to let that get viral.
Fuck you, Putin. Fuck you, Kim Jong-un.
We're trying to go viral.
Fuck you.
We want to go viral. This won't let us go viral.
Let's go to war with Canada. Those Eskimo motherfuckers can't fight. Who's the president of Canada?
It's that soft dude. That Biden just met with him, actually. He's like people. A lot of Canadians.
Fuck you, Canadian president. Fuck you. You can have Cayman back.
That fucking snow Mexican. But that's what I'm saying is like war it sucks, but what we are as a country, we're dependent on it. And so
we got to stop. I know we cannot.
But that's also it. We can't go to war because that's not healthy for the country morality, especially where we're at now.
Plus, who's going to defend us? These blue-haired
That's also the fucking issue.
Starbucks?
It's like, what do we have? Now, coming from the military, I know our military is very up to par to what we need to. If we need to come down to it, there are soft people in it that need to get out.
You're not drafting my ass, bro. I'll chop my fucking leg off tomorrow.
But
you're not going to have me go.
It's the aspect that, like, we need to start creating something again that's outside of war.
We create content.
America is great at it. We have a phenomenal entertainment industry, apparently. Like, when it comes to the rest of the world, our entertainment is the.
I
top
see
tier.
a future where there's a nuke heading towards our way,
They'll
and there's
lose.
just a bunch of purple and blue haired people doing TikTok dances as the nuke comes over, and just
Probably.
we're about to go
I'm outta here,
viral!
babe. I'm outta
Nuke
this bitch.
2026.
I'm out of this bitch.
Bang! We all gone.
That's fair. All right, guys.
All right, we'll see you bitches next week.
That was a kind of depressing ending, dude.
Maybe this is the last episode.
Fallout.